Hey everyone, so Amazon recently restricted me from sending emails to my customers, and as you can see in this photo, that's the email that they sent me. I posted this in my Facebook group and it looks like a lot of people had the same issue as well. So I wanted to share with you guys in this video why I got restricted, what I did wrong, what not to do, and how I completely changed my strategy to get reviews from my Amazon customers. And not only is that strategy not going to get me restricted, but it's also been the most effective strategy I've ever used. It's gotten me so many reviews. So here's the outline of the video. I'm going to start by talking about a new feature that Amazon released to help us sellers ask our customers for reviews. And we'll talk about the pros and cons, why it works, but also why we didn't really utilize it the best way possible and why it could have been the reason for the suspension. Then we're going to talk about my old strategy that I personally use in my own business and also what parts of it got me suspended. So basically we'll talk about what not to do and what I'm still using from that old strategy. And then finally, I'll talk about the new automated strategy that I'm now using where I don't have to do anything at all and I'm getting a bunch of reviews from it. So in that part, I'll show you a step-by-step setup of this strategy. I'll show you exactly what to do. And I'll also show you a template script that I'm using in my emails. So maybe you can use it as well or get inspired by it. So make sure to stick to the end of the video to see the setup, but also to see what not to do so that you don't get suspended if you haven't yet. So Amazon recently introduced a new feature that helps sellers ask our customers for reviews, and that's this button over here. So basically you go into your orders from your customers and each order has this request a review button and you can click it, and then Amazon sends them this template email right here, which is basically just asking for a review and for a seller feedback. And once the customer clicks on the stars right here, it takes them to the Amazon page and they can either leave just the stars, click on the stars, and that's what we call a rating, or they can click on the stars and leave a written review. So when this feature came out, it was a bit confusing for us because we didn't know how to best utilize it. It was annoying at first because you had to go into each order and click on each button. So if you're getting 10 orders a day, 20 orders a day, that's a lot of manual work. Some people hired assistants to do that for them, but then eventually there were some Chrome extensions developed to help us automate this process. So as you can see here, the one that I was using is called Sellerise on the top right. And this is what it looks like. You go to orders, you go to manage orders, and then it shows up right here in blue as a button. And you can either request reviews on this page, so all the orders that show up here, or request reviews on the whole store. And the way that this button works is you can only click it if it's between 5 days after the product's delivered or 30 days. So between 5 to 30 days is the only time that you can actually click this button. And that's what this entire store review button does. It automatically clicks it for all the orders in that time window. So let me show you what it looks like. I'm gonna click it now. And then you can see here, scanning 5 order pages between July 29 and August 23rd, which is that time window. And then it sends them to all these customers. So this button method worked very well for a while because for some reason, I guess customers trusted it more than our older emails that we would send ourselves. And I would see it the next day after I click this button and it sends it to a bunch of my customers. The next day or the next few days, I see a lot of reviews come in. So we were happy. I mean, this was one of the things that Amazon introduced that actually worked and it got us more reviews than usual. However, it wasn't ideal because we had to do it manually. So I had to go in every day or every other day and then click it. And then the other annoying part, which I didn't really like, was because this was automated with the Chrome extensions, it was sending the reviews in bulk. So that means that in this 5 to 30 day window, it was sending reviews in one day for all of these. So if you were a customer that bought it 5 days ago, you got the review request now. But also if you were a customer that got it 30 days ago, you got the review request now as well. So you couldn't control when to send the review to the customer. And that's an issue because let's say you bought a supplement, for example. If you ask me for a review of the supplement 5 days into it, I have nothing to tell you. I haven't tried it yet, or if I did, I haven't gotten results yet. So it's a waste. And in the same way, some other products you might want to ask for the review earlier. So not being able to control when to send these reviews was an issue for me personally. And you also couldn't really control who not to send it to. So if someone left you a negative feedback, you wouldn't really want to ask them for a review. If someone returned the product, you can't really do that with this bulk method. And then finally, it was a bit confusing for us sellers because we didn't know whether it was allowed for us to still send emails the way that we used to and ask reviews from the customers while doing this as well. So I wasn't personally sure if I should do one or the other or both at the same time. And that gets me to the second part of this video, video, which is what was my old strategy. So my old strategy to get reviews from my customers consisted of, first, an insert card that I include in my product that customers can either scan or type in the website and go to. And then they're entered into a Manychat flow where I offer them a guide on how to use the product. And then later I ask them for a review. And in the past, I did a video on how exactly I did that. If you want to see it, it's called How I Get Real Reviews for My Amazon FBA Product. That worked pretty well for me, and honestly, I'm still doing this. I haven't stopped doing this now. The second part of my strategy was I had an automated email sequence that I would send to my customers through Amazon using a tool called FeedbackWhiz. I made a video in the past sharing why I started using FeedbackWhiz and why I like it over other tools. I can link it in the description below, as well as the other video that I just mentioned. But I really liked that strategy with FeedbackWhiz because I would send my customers very nice emails, very funny emails, and I would give them value and then later ask them for a review. It was more than one email, which might have been one of the reasons that I got suspended. As you can see here, I could see that these emails got me reviews because some of the reviews even said, I love their funny emails. And this was inspired by a company called Native, which is a deodorant company. It's pretty big, you might have heard of it. But basically mine was inspired by this and it worked very well, which is why I'm sad that I have to stop this. But if you saw recently, I shared that I started a Shopify store for my product, and I think I'll be transitioning this to there. I'll still use it maybe for my Shopify store. Speaking of which, I'm releasing a video talking about how I get sales with influencers on that Shopify store. So if you want to see that soon, make sure to subscribe and click on the bell to get notified when I post the video. Or just if you want to see more Amazon FBA videos, subscribe. So now that we talked about my strategy, let's talk about what are the reasons that people get suspended, and probably one of them is also the reason that I got suspended. This is a blog that I found from the tool that I use, FeedbackWhiz, and they share 7 important things to avoid in your emails to not get suspended. So the first one is don't use important in your email subject line. This should be an obvious one, or maybe not. Just make sure not to use anything too flashy like important. Number 2 is sending marketing or promotional emails. This one everyone should already know about, but never ever in your Amazon emails through FeedbackWhiz or any other tool, try to promote anything or try to sell anything. In your emails, you should never include links unless if it's to like a video that's inside Amazon, but never try to promote or sell anything. Number 3 is do not incentivize or manipulate feedback and reviews. So never say, please leave a 5-star review and I'll give you a gift or something. Number 4 is asking for the same review repeatedly. And I think that's the reason that I and a lot of other people got suspended, is because we had our email sequence running and then Amazon introduced the button and we weren't sure what exactly to do with it. So we clicked it, and I guess that was considered as 2 review asks repeatedly, which you're not supposed to do. You can only ask your customers for a review once. Number 5 is sending links or attachments that are not necessary to complete the order. I personally have a PDF in my emails, but I think it doesn't fall under this because my PDF is tips on how to use the product. So I would say that it does not apply to this because it is necessary to complete the order. How would you use the product without my guide? So as you can see here, only attach files, ebooks, instructions, and images that are relevant to the product purchase. Never attach marketing material. So you'll see in a second when I show you the new strategy, I still have emails running and I still have a PDF, but I don't have my website on the PDF. I don't have my email. I have nothing, just the name of the product and the brand, and then steps on how to use it. Number 6 is sending excessive emails. Just don't do that. Number 7 is order shipment email for FBA orders. I used to do that as well. I didn't know that that was not allowed. Just don't send an email to your customers confirming the shipment of the product because Amazon already does that. I want to add one thing to point number 3, which is important and people miss. Even if you're not manipulating reviews, you could get suspended for the language that you use. So when you're sending an email asking for a review, never include any language that might make Amazon think that you're incentivizing. For example, never use the word love, enjoy, or happy in the same email where you're asking for a review. Don't risk getting flagged and getting suspended for that. So in an email where I'm asking for a review, I keep the language very neutral just to be safe. So finally, here's my new automated strategy. I don't do the button thing where I have to go and click it myself, and I don't do the same email strategy as before. Instead, it's a combination of the two. And it's possible because of a new feature that FeedbackWhiz released. So if you go to FeedbackWhiz, and this is a demo account that's on my account, you go to Campaign Manager, you can see right here, new feature, create Amazon review and feedback campaigns. So now you can create campaigns to automate the button instead of having to go click it yourself or click it with the Chrome extension. So now you can do that without even opening your laptop. If you guys want to get FeedbackWhiz for yourself to use this new feature, which I would highly recommend, I have a link in the description below. It's an affiliate link, so if you use it, thank you. Use the link and code Brax and you'll get a free month trial and 50% off the second month. So try it. If you don't like it, you can always cancel it. So now, with this in mind, my strategy is to send one email to give my customers tips on how to use the product, because I always want to give value before asking for anything. So I send an email with FeedbackWhiz first to give tips, and then I automate the button with FeedbackWhiz as well to be clicked after I send that email. So you can do something like send the tips on the 3rd day after it's delivered, for example. And then you can click on the button on the 7th day, for example. Let me show you so that it makes a bit more sense. So let's start by showing you the first part, which is the first email that we're gonna send to our customers. It's gonna include tips and maybe a guide if you want. So you go to Template Manager. You're gonna have to create a template email first and then add it to a campaign. You click on Create New Email Template and you call the template name whatever you wanna call it. So first email with tips, for example. And then the subject line. This is what the customer is going to see. So you can put something like, hey, about your Amazon order. You can use these right here. These are variables that change according to what the product is. So this is going to be the order ID. Or you can be like, hey, about your item title, whatever. Style default. This is a label just for you to organize your emails. And then let me show you the template that I use and that's been working for me. So here it is. Whatever you write here on the left, it shows on the right how it's going to show for your customers. So it's something like, hey, my name is whatever, founder of whatever your company is, and I'll be personally making sure that you love your new product. Again, I said love here and it's fine because I'm not asking for a review in this email. But if you are asking for a review in this email, don't do that. Here are 10 tips to help you better use your new whatever. And I also attach in this email a PDF guide with more tips and visuals. So if you want to attach a guide, all you have to do is just upload it here. And then if you want to put a logo, which will show up at the end here of your company, you can upload that here. So then these are the 10 tips. And then you can put them one after the other. Keep it simple and keep it quick because people don't want to read too much. And then at the end, what I personally do, and that's been working very well for me, is I ask them a question. I like it when I'm able to open a dialogue with my customers because then I can actually either ask them for a review or ask them for real feedback for me to know what to improve about my product. Anytime you open a line of conversation with your customers, it's very useful for you. So in this case, I'd be like, what made you buy this product? What do you hope to achieve with this product? Or whatever you think is gonna get the customers to react or to respond. So best and whatever your name is. And that's it. Then we save this. Now you have the template, but you have to go create a campaign for this template. So you go to campaigns, you go to create custom email campaign, and then you name it. So again, first email, whatever. So now right here, you choose from your templates. So first email with tips is the one that we created. And then what you do here is you can either activate it or deactivate it. And now you can choose when you want to send the email. You can send it after it's shipped, for example, and then you can choose when, let's say 11 a.m. And then these are how many days after it's shipped. So let's say 3 days. Or you can do, let's say when it's delivered, 1 day after it's delivered. Again, it's up to you depending on what's inside the email and when you want the customers to see it. And then something cool here is you can exclude a bunch of options here. So like if someone didn't like your product, you don't want to bother them. If someone returned it or refunded it, again, you don't want to bother them. And then right here, you choose the products that you want to add this campaign to. So let's say it's only one specific product. You choose it, you select the ASIN, review and save, create campaign, and you're done. So that was the first email sent to give people tips, to give the customers tips. And then after that, you want to ask them for a review. So then you go to campaigns again, campaign manager, create Amazon review and feedback campaign. This is the automated option of doing the Amazon button that I showed you at the beginning. So instead of doing it manually or doing it with the Chrome extensions, which is still manually, you can do it here. So in this case, the template, you can't choose it because it's Amazon's template, which is gonna look like this, which honestly I'm happy with because it works. And then here you can only choose when it's delivered. You can't choose when it's shipped because like I said, there's a window which is between 5 days and 30 days after it's delivered. So here's the cool part. You can choose exactly what time to press the button, 11 a.m. and when. So after it's delivered, let's say in the case of the supplement that I mentioned earlier, you want to give them 20 days before asking them how it went, or 25 days. then you can do that. Then once you save this, everything's automated. They get the tips a day after it's delivered, and then they get the review request 25 days later. In this case, I'm just gonna put it, let's say 7 days later or 6 days later. And then the other cool part here is you can exclude orders. So whoever left you a bad feedback, let's not bother them anymore. Whoever returned and refunded, you don't want a review from them, let's not bother them. And then maybe for some reason, if you don't want to get a review from someone who bought it at a discount, you can choose that. So then here you choose which products you want to apply this to. Now, because it's a template email, you can choose this for all your products. Or if you're selling supplements and then you're selling something that is not supplements, you might want to separate the campaigns. So basically you're separating the campaigns according to this variable right here and this variable right here. Let's assume it's all products, review and save, create campaign. And it's done. Now you just turn off your computer and then you keep on selling your products. And FeedbackWhiz is automatically sending your customers an email to give them tips, to give them information on how to use the product, and to make them happy basically. And then later, at a specific date and time, it's clicking on the button for you, and Amazon is sending them the email to ask them for a review, which has been one of the most effective ways, for me at least, of getting reviews. As I said earlier, if you want to see the video that I'm posting soon about how I've been getting sales on Shopify and Amazon from influencer marketing, make sure to subscribe to this channel and click on the notification bell to get notified when I post that video or any other Amazon video that you want to see in the future. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up. And like I mentioned, if you want to try FeedbackWhiz, there's my link and a discount in the description below. And click right here if you want to see the video where I shared a step-by-step strategy of how I get reviews using my Manychat flow and the insert card. So click here to watch it and I'll see you guys there. Peace.
They get the later messages even if they don't leave their email here. Then right here you can continue to another step, and then you can